Hey everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Omega Ruby and today's challenge will be, can I beat Pokemon Omega Ruby Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Brendan's manga team? Now actually his name is not Brendan in the manga, his name is Ruby, but I think more people will click on it if I said Brendan's team, so that's why I am catfishing you guys with the Brendan name. But his name is actually Ruby and I didn't know his name was Ruby, and I did a little research into it. He's an interesting team, but his team is pretty cool and he's kind of badass. You can see the scar on his face. I was like, oh, okay, this guy is kind of cool. So the Pokemon on his list will be kind of interesting. He has a Swampert, which automatically means he's great. He also has a Delcatty, a Mightyena, a Gardevoir, a Mega Gardevoir as well, and Plusso and Castform, and also a pretty cool Pokemon in Milotic. So I think it's going to be a pretty interesting bunch, like half really good, half really and then Delcatty. So of course it's going to be a little interesting going forwards, and of course it's going to be a hardcore Nuzlocke. So the basic rules of this is going to be, I can only catch one Pokemon per route, so I can only catch one of Brendan's Pokemon per route, and sometimes they do overlap, so we have to be careful of that. And we're going to make it even harder where we can only catch one Pokemon per new gym badge, so we can't just stack our team since most of his Pokemon are on the early game. So we're going to limit so it makes the game a little harder. And as well, if my Pokemon ever faints or dead, they can never be used again. That's why there's a death counter on the bottom left. And on top of that, there's going to be a level cap, which is going to be the highest level in each gym leader's team. Obviously, they're ace Pokemon. We can't go over that when we go into the gym fight. And of course, we can't use items inside of battle, and we must play on set mode. It's going to be very interesting. One additional rule that's going to be unique to us, Ruby has nicknames for his Pokemon. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to nickname my own Pokemon personally from you guys in the comments. So thank you so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon, just drop in comments and hopefully your pictures. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to begin off, obviously we have a starter Pokemon to reset for, and that's what we're exactly going to do. We're going to reset for a shiny Mudkip, which I think we've done so many times now that I'm pretty used to it. I wish it was Torchic because it's just a quicker input. I know I have to do one more input. My job is so hard, guys. I play Pokemon and I had to put one extra input for soft resetting. We're able to get ourselves a shiny Mudkip eventually, which isn't too difficult because, you know, soft resetting is easier than countering. So once we get ourselves a shiny Mudkip, we're able to move on in the game. We're gonna actually skip some trainers, so we go out into Route 5 or 105, and we're able to clear through more trainers so we don't have to gain more XP later on. I found a tech. I've also added an Oranberry onto my Mudkip, so just in case, you know, we get down to low HP. We also go out and face off against Roxanne, the first gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against her rock Pokemon. She's gonna start the battle off against us using a Geodude. So I start off with my Mudkip. Now Mudkip doesn't actually, I went for Tackle, and lucky enough it misses Rock Tomb, so I'm able to luckily knock out the Geodude in the following turn. From there, she's going to switch out into her Nose Pass, which I'm able to go for a Water Gun, and has a lot of special defense, so that's a little annoying. It does a lot of damage to me with Tackle and Rock Tomb, and eventually I'm able to force it into a Potion, and then that allows me to go for a few more Water Guns. It activates my Oranberry, which is a little annoying, but I do have a lot more of them in the back, so this battle could have gotten a little worse if the Geodude landed that Rock Tomb, but we're able to knock out the Nose Pass and get our first gym badge in the game, which means we're allowed to go out and catch our next Pokemon. Now the first Pokemon I decided to catch is actually a Skitty for some reason. Now looking up, Poochyena does not spawn in this grass. I was afraid it did, but it doesn't. We're able to go out and find ourselves a shiny Skitty, which isn't going to be the best Pokemon, but it's definitely a Pokemon. We're going to add Skitty onto our team and then make sure we evolve our Mudkip before the second gym, and also get ourselves the Self Scar for Skitty because that's the only thing it's going to be really used for. From there, we're going to face off against Brawly next. Brawly is the second gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Marshtomp. Obviously not going to use my Skitty here. So Marshtomp is going to face off against Brawly's Machop. We're able to go for 2 Mud Shots, and we're able to just knock out Machop pretty easily. There's nothing too difficult there. The next Pokemon will be a Makuhita, which we go for a Mud Slap. He goes for a Sand Attack, which is okay. I missed my Mud Shot because of that, and he's able to keep going for more Sand Attacks, which is very annoying. But eventually I landed, and I'm not sure what his plan was, but we still knock out Brawly. So we're able to beat down Brawly, get our second gym badge in the game. Means we have to backtrack a little bit, so it's a little annoying, but we go back into Route 103. Now, we didn't go into Route 102 to get ourselves a Route or a Poochyena because they overlap. So we decided to actually pinpoint ourselves to go into Route 103 to get ourselves a Poochyena. Now routes doesn't spawn in this route specifically, so we're actually in the clear. So we're going to find ourselves a Poochyena in the wild and catch it and add it to our team. And surprisingly, I'm actually excited to use Poochyena. Once we catch the Poochyena, we evolve it into a Mightyena. We're going to use it against the rival battle fight in Route 110, and we're going to clear through them pretty easily. I mean, May kind of gets a little annoying with the rollout damage over here, so we have to use Mud Slap and to make it miss. But from there, I mean, pretty excited to use Mightyena over Skitty for sure. So we're going to face off against the third gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Watson. Watson is the electric type gym leader in the game. He's going to start the battle off against us using a Magnemite, which I went out into my Mightyena, of course. I went for a bite and flinch down to Magnemite. So that allows me to avoid the Thunder Wave. So I also had a Cherry Berry, so it didn't really matter. I'm going to go for 2 more bites to knock out the Magnemite. And then from there, he's going to switch out into his Voltorb, which Volt switch into his Magneton, which I'm able to get some nice damage off. I'm going to go for a bite again. And from there, he misses his Supersonic, and I just knock out his Magneton. And yeah, so Mightyena actually destroys Watson. I completely forgot to get black glasses. I just realized that could really help me. You'll see why later on. But we beat Watson down, so we're able to go back and get our next Pokemon. We decided to go into Route 110 because it's the closest route to us. And we're going to try our best to find ourselves a shiny Plusle. Now, unfortunately, we're playing on Omega Ruby. Now, I decided to play on Omega Ruby because, you know, Ruby, Brendan, his name is Ruby in the manga, so you know Omega Ruby. Unfortunately, Plusle is more of a Alpha Sapphire Pokemon. And the only way to get ourselves a Plusle is to find a horde encounter. So I didn't realize this while I was just spending the first like 10 minutes searching around. And then from there, I decided to spawn myself in some honey to obviously activate some horde encounters. Now, there's actually a breakdown of horde encounters. 60% of the time, they're going to be Magnemites. 30% of the time, they're going to be Minun. And I think 10% of the time is going to be Minos and 1 Plusle. So there's a less than 5% chance that a Plusle will spawn for us when a Minun spawn. And then it's super annoying. As you could I found so many shiny Magnemites that it's actually disgusting, because I would love to catch one, but I can't use one on my team. So I decided I really got fed up. I decided to leave, and hopefully we don't have to catch one later. Brendan does have 7 Pokemon, so hopefully we're gonna go into a deathless run and don't search out for a shiny Plusle later down the line. So we decided to go back into Route 103 and catch ourselves a Routes, which is gonna be universally better than a Plusle. So we're gonna catch ourselves a Routes added to our team, evolve it into a Curlier, go into Meteor Falls, and get ourselves a Moonstone to evolve our Skitty into Delcatty, which, oh boy, this thing is not gonna be useful. From there, we're gonna face off against Maxi and just destroy him with my Mightyena. Mightyena is kind of fun to use. I wish I really got black glasses. That didn't cross my mind until I started doing commentary. But from there, we're going to face off against Flannery next, the 4th gym leader in the game. She can start the battle off against us using a Slugma. I tried to use something cool. Obviously, Marshtomps in the back and would have swept every other gym leader. So I decided to use Curlia, and I went for Calm Minds in front of the Slugma. Hopefully, I don't get burned. But it's going to go for Overheat. It's getting a little damaging, not going to lie. But from there, I could go for Calm Minds and then Confusion to knock out the Slugma. But then I realized I'm at low HP, and the Torkoal definitely has Body Slam. So you know what? I decided to switch out into my Mightyena. It goes for Sunny Day, and I'm like, okay, I'm really throwing here. I don't want to lose a Pokemon. I decided to switch out into my Marshtomp, which is going to be the most reliable Pokemon. Takes some Overheat pretty well, and then goes for Bodos. 2 Bodos would knock out the Torkoal. Unfortunately, I get paralyzed, and I could have lost my Marshtomp there, which would have been a big throw. But lucky enough, Marshtomp is cool enough to let me knock out the Torkoal, and from there I can switch out to my Mightyena to finish the battle against Numel. And that's probably the hardest Flannery fight I ever had, because I decided to be different. So the message to all the kids, don't be different. From there, we're able to evolve our Curlia into a Gardevoir, and from there we're able to face off against Norman. Norman's gonna be the Norman type gym leader in the game. Also the 5th gym leader. You can see why we didn't catch a Pokemon just yet, because the only Pokemon we can get right now is a Plusle, and we want to avoid that. So we're gonna hold that in the back for a little bit as we face off against Norman. Norman is the 5th gym leader in the game. We'll start the battle off against him using my Mightyena, and Mightyena is gonna switch out into my Delcatty, and then he'll first sing as I get yawned, and we're just gonna stay asleep for the rest of our lives. Eventually, I lower his attack stat using Charm, and then it works out for me as I switch out into my Mightyena. It's the only Pokemon really have. You know what? Maybe I should have set up with my Gardevoir, because it does have Draining Kiss and also Calm Mind. So I'm not too sure. I was just in love with using Mightyena, but I got +6 with Mightyena. I'm able to one-shot. Okay, didn't even one-shot the Slacking at +6. So disappointing. But eventually we're able to knock out the Slacking. His next Pokemon will be a Vigoroth. I outspeed him. I knock him out with a Rock Smash. Kind of sad. From there, he's going to switch out to his Slacking, and he decides to use Retaliate. In this moment, I knew it was going to come, but I couldn't switch out to anything. Anything would have died. I really wish I went back in time, got the black glasses, and also sacrificed my Delcatty and not my Mighty Anna. But Mighty Anna went down, unfortunately, so I had to switch out into my Delcatty, use a charm, and then 2 psychics from my Gardevoir would knock out the Slacking, and we're able to easily beat, well, not really easily, is it? I lost the Pokemon, but we're able to beat down Norman and get ourselves the 5th gym badge in the game. Since the Pokemon died, we're gonna have to be forced to find ourselves a Plusle. I did catch a Plusle and try to Dex Nav it. Never popped up. Not a single time did it pop up. From there, I try to go back and try to use Horde encounters and more Horde encounters. Eventually, my file got too big that I was like, you know what, let me reset OBS so my computer just doesn't run out of storage. And I found it. I finally found it, and I couldn't find the actual encounter. I was like, oh my god. But honestly, I wasn't even mad that I didn't get it on camera. Finally relieved that I don't have to do this anymore. And look at the Horde encounters. We find ourselves finally a shiny Plus, so we're going to catch it, add it to our team. Finally, the worst Pokemon in the game. Not because it's bad, it's just super annoying in Omega Ruby. From there, we're going to face off against Tabitha, clear through Tabitha, make sure we have a full party just so we don't get this cast form. We're going to come back to it later as we can go under this bridge right outside of the Weather Fortress and catch ourselves a Feebas. Feebas is 100% encounter. I did not know this. This is the spot. So Feebas, unlike Plusle, very non-problematic and easy to find. We're to catch ourselves a shiny Feebas, add it to our team, and also gave it max happiness, like right out the jump, and then evolve it into a Milotic, and then we're going to face off against Winona. Winona is going to be the 6th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Plusle. Hopefully it doesn't die. Plusle gets quick attack and crit, so that's a great start. Great debut fight. We're going to discharge and knock out the Swallow though. From there, it's going to switch out into our Altaria, which obviously has Earthquake, so we're not going to stay in. I switch out to my Milotic and realize I didn't teach it anything. So we have Dragon Tail as our only move, so we're going to Dragon Tail the Altaria out into the Skarmory. Allows me to go out into my Plusle, which takes Aerial Ace, and then 2-shots it with a Discharge. And from there, she's going to switch out into her Altaria. I go back out into my Milotic to Dragon Tail, and then switch it out into her final Pokemon, which is going to be Pelipper. I go out into my Plusle to Discharge and 1-shot it. And then from there, she goes back out into her Altaria. She's actually in range on my Discharge, but obviously I'm not going to risk that. As I go out into my Gardevoir to Psychic twice to knock him out. But she used Hyper Potion, but still can knock her out eventually. As we get the 6th gym badge in the game, allows us to get our final Pokemon in the game, which is going to be Cast Form. We just have the soft reset for it. Super easy. It keeps the same nature, which is kind of annoying. But we get ourselves a shiny Cast Form eventually, which isn't too difficult. Because unlike Plusle, you could just soft reset for it, and there's a singular encounter. From there, we're going to go out into Vampire. Completely forgot. My Marshtomp evolves into a Swampert. I forgot this thing was on my team. But Swampert is cool. We're going to go into the Team Magma hideout. Clear through all the Team Magma members in here. I was actually in class. I was on a Zoom class while this was happening. And then we just cleared through the Team Magma. And from there, we can move out and face off against Tate and Liza. This battle is a joke. So they only have a Solrock and Lunatone. I went on to both my water types. I even forgot to teach my Milotic Surf still. But we 1-shot the Solrock, and then from there we can 2-shot into the Lunatone as it sets up Light Screen, which doesn't really matter at all as we're ready to beat it down. And we don't want to Luncoil. We're going to teach Milotic some moves after this. From there, we're going to face up against Team Magma's leader, Maxi. Maxi isn't too difficult. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Marshtomp. This is clearly not a Marshtomp. I'm not too sure why I said Marshtomp. But Swampert is able to knock out the Mighty Anna in 1 shot. From there, you can switch out to his Weezing. And I feel like my defensive wall Milotic was able to burn it. And it actually blocks out the explosion damage. Look, it just tickles Milotic. From there, Maxi switches out into his Crobat, which actually does a lot of damage to me. So I'm like, oh, burn? No burn. So I have to play really smart here. I go out into my Electric type, which Plusle, actually, you know what? Maybe it's worth all the trouble. Blocks the Acrobatics basically, and then goes for Discharge, outspeed him, knock out the Crobat super easily. From there, he switched out into his Mega Camera Up, which is kind of annoying. So I'm like, uh-oh, this thing could be really powerful. So I go out to my Swampert. I'm at full HP. I assume I'm going to live everything. Unfortunately, he goes for Yawn, so I'm like, oh, so he didn't do anything. So I went for Surf, 1-shot the Camera Up, and from there, we can move out and face off against Primal Groudon. Now, Primal Groudon is a super easy fight. He's one of the best Pokemon, you know, design-wise, and also, you know, his stats are crazy too, and his ability is crazy too. But we just go for Bodos to lower his speed. We do a lot of damage with Bodos, and then from there, Earthquake would knock him out as we're able to beat down Primal Groudon. So, yeah, super easy. We saved the world. From there, we're going to move out. We're able to go into Wallace's gym, and we're able to complete this puzzle without any problems at all. You know, I have a broken controller, the Joy-Con is drifting, or the joystick is drifting, and I'm able to complete the puzzle super easily, as you can see. very easily and timely, even though I'm walking at a 2-mile pace. Anyways, from there, we're going to face up against Wallace next. Wallace is going to start the battle off against us using a Love Disc. I start the battle off against him using my Plusso, which Plusso was able to go for a discharge and knock out the Love Disc, one-shot it. From there, he's going to switch out to his Witch Cash, which is obviously I go out into my Malotake, Scald, burn him, Scald again, knock him out super easily. From there, he's going to switch out to his Celio, which go back into my Minum, of course. Minum's able to just go for a Thunder. What am I doing? I'm just trolling at this point. Thunder will one-shot the Celio. From there, he's going to switch out to his Malotake, which I go for a discharge, hoping for a Paralyze, but I dodged the Hydro Pump, which I'm not too sure what killed me, but it doesn't matter, as we're able to knock out the Malotake. From there, he's going to switch out to his final Pokemon, which is going to be a Sea King. I don't want to lose a Hydro Pump. It's a whack-ass move. I'm able to go for a discharge, knock out the Sea King, and knock out Wallace, get the 8th Gym Badge in the game, and I still have no other Pokemon to really... I still haven't used Cast Form one time, by the way. From there, we're going to go into Victory Road and just clear through Victory Road using my Gardevoir, because Gardevoir is super broken. Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss, Psychic. What else do you really need from this thing? Maybe a Mega Stone, which maybe I should have got. But anyways, we're going to clear through Wally, clear through the Victory Road, and then head into the Elite Four itself. Now, the Elite Four itself is not going to be too difficult. We're going to start the battle off against the first Elite Four member. We're going to face off against Cindy. Cindy's going to start the battle off against us using a Mightyena. I go for a few Calm Minds against him. He's going to go for a Swagger. I'm going to make sure, I was not going to make sure. I wanted to snap out of confusion, but I guess +2 Calm Minds and a Draining Kiss would knock out the Mightyena, as I'm still confused, so not too sure what I'm doing here. Maybe to snap out of confusion right now, so I guess that's timely. I'm able to knock out the Sharpedo in one shot. I'm able to knock out the Shift Tree in one shot, and also knock out the Absol, and finally the Cacturn, as his team is really easy. So, yeah, we're able to beat down Sydney and move on, face off against the next Elite Four member. We're going to face off against Phoebe. Phoebe's going to be the Ghost type Elite Four member and start the battle off against us using a Dusclops. Now, I try to give the best to Delcatty. So I teach Delcatty Shadow Ball, and I put the Dusclops to sleep. I'm just hoping I could just knock him down. Shadow Ball doesn't affect it. I'm like, what? Let me try this again. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Shadow Ball again, doesn't affect. I'm like, please don't have Normalized. I checked, it has Normalized. Of course it has Normalized. This is a little amount of times I've used Delcatty this entire playthrough. I've just realized it has Normalized. So I'm like, you know what? Never again will I use you. So I go out into my poor Gardevoir, which will take a confusion, but Shadow Ball will knock out the Dusclops. From there, he's going to switch out into his Bayonet, which I'm not going to, let my Gardevoir go down. I go out into my Marvel Scale Malotake, which, works out, gets burned. I could go for a Surf, knock out the Bayonet. From there, he's going to switch out into his Dusknoir, which I'm going to go for Scald and then Surf to knock out the Dusknoir, but I'm going down on low HP. From there, Phoebe's going to switch out to her Sableye, which causes so much issues as she goes for Fake Out. I'm going to low HP. I'm like, you know what, I can recover, I'll speed it. Hopefully it doesn't have Shadow Sneak, it doesn't, of course. It goes for Foul Play, does a lot of damage. I can't stay in and just keep recovering, that's just a waste of PP. So I'm going to come out and knock out the Sableye in one shot with an Earthquake. And from there, I just realized that, I forgot Waterfall can't flinch. We were to flinch down the Bayonet and knock him out in 2 shots. And we were to beat down Phoebe with little issues, but we're fine. Didn't lose a Pokemon. From there, we can face off against Glacia next. Glacia is going to be the Ice type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Plusso, which, you know what, Plusso has a moment. Plusso is able to get 2 Nasty Bots up, get it to +4. And then from there, we're able to discharge. We're able to Thunder. Wow, what am I doing? Thunder to one-shot the Glalie through Light Screen, by the way. And from there, we're able to face off against her Frostlass. We landed the discharge. It's going to hit me with Blizzard, and you know what? Plusso just tanked it. So from there, we're able to force it into full restores, discharge again, full restores once more, and then from there, the Light Screen's basically worn off. We're able to knock out the Frostlass in one move. From there, her next Frostlass comes out. The Hail is gone as well, so the Snow Cloak's gone. We're able to discharge and knock out the Frostlass in one shot. Her next Pokemon will be a Walrein, which allows us to go for a discharge and knock out in one shot as well. And her final Pokemon will be a Glalie, which we go for a discharge, and we're easily able to knock him out. It doesn't go for an Ice Shard or anything, but we're able to go for a discharge and knock out the Glalie in one shot, as we're able to clear through Glacia, which is our Plusso. So you know what? It was worth it. Well worth it. From there, we're going to actually restore PP into a Gardevoir's Draining Kiss and face off against Drake next. Drake's going to be the Dragon type Elite Four member of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Gardevoir, of course. We're going to face off against his Altaria, which I'm going to go for Calm Mind against his Altaria. He's going to go for an Air Light into a Con Guard, which doesn't really do anything for him because I do have Draining Kiss. I'm going to restore all my HP whenever I want. I don't go overboard. I get +3, get my HP back from the Altaria, and from there, he's going to switch out to his Flygon. I outspeed him. Draining Kiss would knock out the Flygon, knock out his second Flygon. And also his Kingdra comes out, I could go use any move. I use Draining Kiss to knock out his Kingdra, and his final Pokemon will be a Salamence. And this is why I chose Draining Kiss over Moonblast, because I could restore my HP as much as I want, and we're able to one-shot everything anyways, so we're able to beat down the Salamence and beat down Drake. From there, we're going to face up against the champion in the game. We're going to make our preparations. We're going to give the Megastone to our Swampert, of course. We already had. We also teach our Swampert Power Up Punch. And we're going to start the battle off against Steven Stone using my cast form. Now, I just want to show cast form for one time. You know, let everyone have a little spotlight moment. We're going to be able to go for a Rain Dance with my cast form. And from there, we're able to just two-shot in. I'm not too sure why I used Blizzard here. But Blizzard froze the Skarmory. So cast form actually did more in this fight, in this entire run, than Delcatty. Delcatty was with me from the beginning of the game. Somehow, cast form did more in this short little moment. We're able to go out to my Swampert, and since Skarmory is actually frozen, we're able to get three power-up punches with my Mega Swampert, which allows us to basically win the game, as this next Pokemon will be a Cradily, which is a Grass type, but we can go for an Earthquake, since he's part Rock, and one-shot him through all that, because we have +3 on attack, and from there, we're able to go for max attacks with power punches against the Aggron. He tries to use Earthquake, but I just tank it. Mega Swampert, such a powerful, so fun to use in OU back in the day, in Gen 7, Gen 6. So fun. I think Gen 7 more, because Gen 6 had the little weird mechanic where you had to protect first. But from there, we're able to just knock out everything. We're able to knock out the Claydol in one shot. His next Pokemon will be Armaldo, which obviously goes down in one shot with Waterfall. And his final Pokemon will be his Metagross, which I go for an Earthquake. Oh, I don't. I go for Waterfall. I'm just BMing him. Didn't use a super effective move. We're able to one-shot the Metagross, beat down Steven Stone. You guys know the drill. Once we had the Swampert, you guys probably knew the run was over. You know, once we kept Swampert, unlike my Emerald Nuzlocke where I got cheesed by the random Wobbuffet, yeah, if you keep Swampert, you should be golden to beat any Nuzlocke. But yeah, we actually cleared through Pokemon Omega Ruby using only Brendan/Ruby's manga team, and it was pretty fun. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't sack my Mightyena for the Delcatty. I should have just sacked the Delcatty instead. Actually, Phoebe is the only one that gave me a bit of trouble because I had to switch in between a lot. I could have just swept her with my Mightyena with Black Lightning. So there's a lot of regret there. Could have been a flawless run. Actually, no, it couldn't, because Flat King was kind of unavoidable with Retaliate. But maybe if I start with anyone else besides Mightyena. Anyways, that'll be the end of my video today. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name's Alpha, and I hope you guys all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.